As he entered the surgery room, Wesley knew that his life would be changed forever. His baseball career was over, and he would now be faced with struggles that were once just easy tasks. You see, Wesley was a quiet kid as a freshman in high school who mainly kept to himself. Every day after school, he'd get his glove, grab his bat, and strap on his cleats to do the thing he loved most, play baseball. However, one afternoon, while feeding his horses, an accident happened that would keep him from playing another game of high school ball and would change his life forever. But you see, Wesley knew the power of being in a positive mood. He'd been handed a struggle in his life that he could have used as a weakness, but instead, he realized and accepted what he must overcome. He had become grateful for his new gift, and he had looked at it in a positive light. We all have our weaknesses and have been taught that there are attributes and mistakes that we should cover up, hide, or avoid. But why? People say that we should focus on our strengths instead of our weaknesses so that we could be exceptional at what we're good at instead of adequate as a whole. But if we know and accept what our weaknesses are and become grateful for what we have, only then can we look at these weaknesses in a positive manner and be even greater than what we've been labeled with. Whether we like it or not, everything in our lives are not perfect. Things don't always go in our favor, and we have all been blessed. Yes, blessed with our own set of weaknesses. Every weakness that we have been judged by has the possibility to be what makes us great. Every bad experience we encounter can be used as a tool to strengthen ourselves. And our imperfect lives, what's a road trip without a few unplanned scenic routes and a couple flat tires? Haven't you noticed that the things that don't always go as planned become our most memorable moments? Wesley Glick had over 300 stitches, 25 staples, and 2 plastic surgeries by the end of his life-changing accident. So you might be wondering, what had actually taken place the day that Wesley's life had changed? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the right side of his chest had been bitten off by that horse, leaving Wesley with only one appendage that most of us have 2 of. And honestly, was the best thing that has happened to him so far. You see, once the surgery was over with and Wesley was up and moving, a kid that would only say a few words was now showing off his chest to people every day, including his friends, an occasional teacher, and even complete strangers. Something that could be looked at negatively in so many ways is overshadowed by the tremendous fact that Wesley's positive attitude is what drove him to be a better person after life became hard. Just like Wesley, we all have been dealt with our own set of obstacles, our own set of mishaps, and yes, our very own weaknesses. There is no way we can avoid what has been given to us, which leaves us with one option: to realize and accept what our weaknesses are. Each and every one of us has something that people have judged us by, or maybe it's something self-conscious that we struggle to keep hidden from others and ultimately ourselves. So what is it? What have you found? What is that one weakness that keeps you from being the best possible person you can be? Are you too conservative? Do you take too many chances? Or are you too regretful of the actions you take? What is wrong with any of these qualities you have discovered? The only thing wrong with them is the fact that you haven't accepted them as a positive part of who you are. Now, I'm not saying we have to be happy when bad things happen in our lives, but we always have the opportunity to be positive. Mr. Barrett Keene is a former national FFA officer from Florida who is currently walking across America to bring awareness to the Global Orphan Project. He is an individual that has inspired me to make a difference and is the true example of a person who can make the best out of the worst. Mr. Keene had told me that when something bad would happen to him or his friends, that they would all celebrate in honor of the fact that they gained an experience, learned a lesson, but most importantly, grew as individuals because of the memories they have received. Mr. Keene shared that once while in Florida, that same group was taking a swim at the beach. The three individuals were all scheming up a wager to make the day a little more interesting. Fortunately for the crew, a buoy was not far off in the distance, and the only thing that was keeping them from swimming out and touching it was a 50-foot stretch of sand near their beach hangout. At the drop of a hat, the three men all began racing towards the water and out to touch the buoy. Halfway through the race, there was a panic among the beachgoers as sharks began to stalk a school of fish near the shoreline. Everyone began running away from danger up on shore. Everyone but these three unlucky individuals still clinging onto that buoy. Luckily, after the race, Barrett and his friends came out of the water perfectly fine. Because they have always been grateful for their bad experiences and knew that they could always find a positive outcome, him and his friends knew that if something would have gone wrong during that race, that three people would have had a really cool story to talk about. I mean, what would be cooler than having a story about how one of your friends or yourself had gotten attacked by a shark? Sad but oddly true, Mr. Keene was right. Although crazy and unfortunate things happen in our lives, we must accept and overcome what has been thrown at us and ultimately learn in the process. Wesley and Barrett Keene helped me realize that positivity is the key to dealing with the things that bring us down, our misfortune, our mistakes, our weaknesses. Instead of hoping for a way to get rid of these experiences, we should be grateful for the opportunities that life has presented. We can't allow our weaknesses to become excuses that we use so that people can feel sorry for us and that we can tell ourselves it's okay if we don't fully try. At this moment, I want each and every one of you to think about a time that you have been judged, criticized, or looked down upon because of a weakness. It might be because of something physical, such as your size, your height, or your skin. Or maybe it's because of your abilities, your actions, or your attitude. Now see how you can turn that into your advantage. As for me, I used to be a quick little booger till my feet grew and my body didn't, which slowed me down significantly. Then I realized that these extra inches on my feet can be used as an advantage in the long jump competition compared to other people that had average sized feet. Yep, still works. Apart from that, I have been judged and labeled for having a condition that countless people use as an excuse. I have been looked down upon for the random things I say, my lack of attention span, and my inability to stay in one place at one time. I then realized that it was up to me to take what I saw as a weakness, accept it for defining who I am, and look at it in a positive light. That once shy and quiet friend that I knew in high school is now one of my most outgoing and full of life friends that I have the privilege to be friends with. Not to mention, he also made a full recovery and now can play catch every now and then. Mr. Keene helped me realize that even our most traumatic and horrible experiences have a silver lining, and that we can take more from our mishaps than they can take from us. I have been called childish and immature, all because I have what doctors refer to as ADD. I have now realized that what God has given me is the ability to think outside the box, always stay on my toes, and to make light of any situation. ADD is not a diagnosis, and frankly, I'd much rather not treat it like one. Just like my ADD, the things that should be described as our weaknesses are now what we should use to our advantage. If you are too quiet, know that somebody needs somebody to listen to them. If you're too analytical or insecure, think about how attentive to detail you are on a daily basis. And if you aren't as organized as you think you should be, there is nothing wrong with being able to think on your toes. If you have a disability, know that the blind are led not by sight, but by faith, and that the deaf are true examples that actions speak louder than words. Instead of making excuses, start today by being the positive person I know you all are. If you haven't already, I want you to realize and accept what you have been given. Be grateful for your new gift and shine a positive light on your newfound strength. Texas FFA, with these steps, you can say that I put the I in positive.